Okay, perfect. So the presentation here I have, it goes over a little bit of what we did last week and what we're doing this week, and then we're going to talk about the assignment. All right. So that's what I just said. We're going to talk about last week, this week, and go over the assignment. So we're going to look at what is an offering, how new offerings are developed, and how value is perceived by customers, and how product life cycle shapes marketing decisions. And then we'll talk about the assignment. So I'm going to leave that slide later. Okay, so in week one, you were asked how marketers build something and what customers actually value. So we're looking at the creating of the message, the communication, delivering, and then that exchange. So it's not just what the company thinks, it's also the value is also what the customer believes they're receiving compared to what they're giving up. So I'm giving you this cash for an expectation, and I'm hoping that what I provide or what you provide me is worth that value of what I paid. So when you're looking at the product versus the offering, your product is that's a tangible good. It's a service that customers buy or use. The offering is that bundle service, the price, the access. So think about when you purchase a new cell phone, for example, and you buy the cell phone with T-Mobile, and then they offer you Netflix for free for the lifetime of your plan, right? So if you get rid of your T-Mobile, then you lose that Netflix and you have to pay for that separately. So that offering and that experience and that promise they're giving you, it kind of gives you that value. So your customer value is the customer's judgment of the benefits received compared to the cost, the time, and the risk. So again, I mentioned the smartphone as a product. You've got your apps, your wireless service. I mean, right now, everything. I don't know if you ladies are carrying purses anymore today. I pretty much don't anymore because everything I need is right on my phone. If I want to buy something, I just take my phone and it's like a magic wand. I just, well, there, I bought something. It's a little too convenient.
Very.
I just love that.
Everything.
I love it. So we're looking at what the customer believes they receive. There's the extrinsic value and there's the intrinsic value. So extrinsic, you're looking at the functional, the practical, the outcome-based values. Are you saving money? Are you saving your time? Are you solving a problem? Is it performing better? And then intrinsic value, you're looking at that emotional experience that you're identifying with it. You're feeling that meaningful, comfortable, ethical, it aligns with your values. Having a family here of goodness, there's about 6 of us maybe in the family. A few of us are in college. We all share a Starbucks app. So we can see kind of how each of us are different when they're going in. You can see what they're ordering, but it's almost like it's almost like a lifestyle for them, for my college kids. It's like if we're going to study, we have to go to Starbucks and we have to get this particular dragon fruit drink or whatever, and this pistachio, and it's just like it comes together with their studying. It's very interesting to watch, and it makes me think, wow, yeah, they're identifying with these are my Starbucks kids. But in a million years, like we didn't have that experience growing up in going to college. That wasn't a thing for us. But then again, we had Borders bookstores, right? So
right.
if I don't know the age ranges here. I don't want to guess, but that's what we had in the 90s, in the late 90s in college. So
I'm probably close to the age of your college kids because I'm 26. So
okay, so then you understand. You can relate to that. So
yeah.
Awesome. Very cool. So when you're looking at the new offering development process, you've got the idea generation, and then you're screening it. And I apologize, my PowerPoints, I shouldn't probably have not used white on red. The feature specifications, then your development, and then of course you're going to test it, right? You do A/B testing, you launch it, and then you evaluate it, the feedback of today. That evaluation may look like reviews that you see on Yelp or reviews you see on Google, right? And if you read my profile message, my introduction, I mentioned that I work in higher education outside of teaching. I also am assistant dean for admissions and recruitment. So, my product that I'm selling is education, right? I'm going out creating open houses. My goal is to get students to come to my school and make their choice to start at a community college before going to the 4-year school. And then at the end, I'm evaluating them. I'm saying, were you happy with this open house? Are you going to close? Are you going to come to our school? So you can look at that as I know it's not like a physical, right? You're not actually picking it up from a store, but even that process goes through that whole offering development process when you're looking at education and selling education to students, right? So the key idea is each stage tests whether the offering can deliver customer value and business value. So the further you move, the idea moves through the process and the more expensive it becomes. This is why screening matters. And I can think of several times in the history of marketing, especially with the Coca-Cola products, where they have either been really successful or just flat out failed. I could think of a clear, I think it was Clear Pepsi. So that's a different organization, but Pepsi had Clear Pepsi. It didn't, not many people liked it. So something to think about. That testing is important before the launching. Okay, so where do the good ideas come from and how are they screened? So the source of ideas, it could be your customers, your employer, your employees, your suppliers, your competitors, the lead users, and the observed market problems, right? It could be then you have your screening question. Does it add value to the customer? Is it going to fit that strategy? And can we make it? Is anyone else making it? Do we have any issues with that? How do we make it unique to us? And will the customer buy it? Because you can make a lot of things, but the idea is to get it off the market and get people interested and to really appreciate and purchase your product at the end of the day. And then there's the investment risk. So you're spending a lot of time and money, and so if that offering fails, that's a loss. It's a loss to your business. Then there's the opportunity risk, right? So company could reject it or ignore the ideas, and it could have been succeeded. So that's something to think about too, doing that SWOT analysis. So in the testing, launch, and evaluation phase, you have the alpha testing. And this is a lot of this content I pulled from the reading just to kind of help you guys, because it's a lot of content to just read. So I just wanted to pull what I thought was important to share, interesting. So you have the alpha testing, and that is the lab or controlled testing. Are you checking to see if the offering is working as specified? Then you have your beta testing. So that is working with real life customers, focus groups, seeing how this will work in real life conditions. And then of course that launch in the market test. So it's limited, and I feel like Starbucks does this too, because I see it on my app. If my kids are buying something, I'm like, okay, they're trying something new today. So it's a limited launch to learn whether or not the market plan will work before scaling. So, and then after the launch, the marketers are going to evaluate, they're going to evaluate their sales. They're going to look at the customer's feedback. They're going to look at the cost, delivery, and whether the offering still creates value. So this is just kind of an idea of what that product life cycle looks like. In the beginning, it's dollars are relatively small. You might see some growth, or you might see a decrease. And then the maturity phase, you see kind of go up a little bit, and then it just kind of spikes sales. And then over time, it starts to decrease. So in the introduction and growth, you have different marketing jobs. Introduction stage, that's going to generate awareness. It's going to educate customers and encourage trial. It's going to build distribution, manage launch costs, and oftentimes your profit is going to be low. In the growth stage, you're going to see a demand increase. You're going to see competitors enter. You're going to see benefits that we're going to be clear. Distribution is going to expand, and you're going to see profits rising in that growth stage. So at the pricing choice at launch, your penetrating price, it uses a lower initial price to attract trial. Skimming uses a higher initial price to recover investment and target the early adopters. So those of you who see the brand new iPhone coming out, or how are you with the phones? Are you an iPhone or are you Android?
I'm iPhone.
You're okay. I think you might be the. I wonder if our other student dropped off. Well, if he did or she did, they can come back and watch the recording when it's available. But yeah, we're mostly iPhone in our house with one Android user, and of course the younger ones, the college students, they want as soon as it comes out. They're the early adopters. They want to get that out there. They want to do the upgrade. So
Yeah.
me personally, I'm holding on to that iPhone 14, and I refuse. I'm just no. I'm good. I'm done with the upgrades.
Me too. You know, when you're an adult and you pay for it yourself, it's kind of
Exactly,
like
exactly,
I'll hold out.
exactly. So we're looking, and then you saw that graph earlier, right? That maturity and decline. So keeping value alive. So at the maturity stage, the sales are going to start to level off. Many competitors are still going to remain. The marketers are trying to extend the product's life by modifying the target market. So we know who those people are. It's like, well, check this out. There's a new feature, there's new upgrades. So they're offering and they're increasing the market mix. And then, of course, in that decline stage, you're going to start to see those sales to fall, right? Marketers have to decide, are we going to keep this, harvest, divest, reposition, or just simply replace the offering? And as you know, Apple is constantly making those small little changes so they can stay in the game because they're not going to just replace it. They're going to, here's an upgrade, try this one, try that one. So, for example, you have new flavors, new packaging, new features, new geographic markets, looking and seeing, what other areas might be interested in this product. Who haven't we targeted yet? Refreshing store experiences or a revised community or communication strategy. A lot of times the marketer is going to work with economics or economists to kind of see what the market looks like. So if they're seeing that there's a rise in income in certain areas, the grocery stores may start changing around what they're selling. So they may not, like I always use ramen noodles for college students, right? So ramen noodles as a college student, you're probably buying that. But as your income changes, you're going to change your diet as well. And your taste change, right? So marketers are looking at that. They're working with economists and making those changes. Just something to think about. I know a couple of people have different majors in our class, and it's just interesting when you see how each of those programs that you guys are interested in actually tie in and work in tandem with marketing. Okay, so we have the strategic decisions depending on internal and external fit. So the internal analysis, we're looking at what is the company's strengths? What are their capabilities? Do they have the budget? What's the reputation like? And a lot of times people are dealing with that. So I remember there was an article about Coca-Cola. Oh, we have Caitlin's back. Hi, Caitlin, are you in? I noticed after, I'm so sorry. I noticed you were gone. But thank you for coming back. And of course, this is being recorded. So for whatever is missed, you can catch up on the video. Can you see the presentation okay? I kind of hear you a little bit. You sound a little muffled, but as long as you can hear me and you can see the screen, we'll go ahead and continue. All right. So the external environment that we're looking at I'm sorry. Okay. We're looking at the consumers, the competitors, the substitutes, regulations, the culture, the economy, technology, and marketing trends. So looking at a strong value proposition that sits where the company strength meets the consumers. Just going to mute you real quick. Customer need. All right. Excellent. Okay, so I wanted to share the McKinsey matrix. So you're looking at the matrix here for high order thinking. So marketing decisions are their portfolio decisions. Companies are going to decide whether to invest or where to protect or where they need to reduce support. So if you're looking at this matrix here, you can think of it as a thinking tool. Is the market attractive? Is the company strong enough to compete. So when you're looking at the industry attractiveness and the high level, you're looking at selective earnings. When you're looking at the competitive strength, if you look at low level, you're looking at selective earnings. So on high, this may go back to what I was saying about the ramen noodles and being a college student, graduating, and then being able to make purchases that are a lot higher than your typical college ramen noodles. So, all right. So, any questions so far? I know I kind of ran through that real quick, but I want to make sure we have time for questions and then we can talk through the assignment. And Caitlin, I'm going to get you back off mute. So, if you have any questions, you can let me know. All right. So, have you either of you taken a stab at the assignment yet? I know we just opened the module today. And if you
I
have,
have I've looked at it a few times just to see the requirements, but I haven't necessarily like started yet.
okay. So it's a pretty simple assignment. It's not too overly complicated, so don't overcomplicate it. It only needs to be about 150 words, and you are going to do a sketch for me. You need to do a hand drawing, or if you do want to use AI tools like Claude or Canva or ChatGPT, that's you're more than welcome to do so. Just be sure you're citing it, that you didn't create the image and how it was created. So
Okay.
you're going to create a one-page memo. It's going to explain the value proposition for one approved consumer market company. The word limit is 150. Try not to go over, and please don't go like to under. I don't want a memo that comes in that's about 75 words because you could get dinged for that. So you want to keep it at 150, and it's a memo. Who, what, where, to it goes over. I think is it Tiffany? No, Tiffany Mar's the next one, but your name, who it's from, to who you're sending it to, what it's concerning, and then the body. So very professional. And as I mentioned, you're going to include a back of napkin image inside the memo. Again, you're just drawing out what the product is going to do for your customer, right? So you could draw. Let me see what could be a good back of napkin. I don't want to use the iPhone, but I will because that's where I am today. So you draw a picture of your iPhone. How does it solve the customer's needs, right? It's if you're using if you're saying this is the Apple iPhone with services at T-Mobile, it saves money. It has this added benefit by having the bundle with not Verizon, Netflix, the convenience, easy to carry, stuff like that. Think about what the value proposition would be for your customer that the product is going to solve. And then, of course, your last page will be your references. I'm really big on, because this is an academic writing class, so I want to make sure that you're following proper academic writing. That will include offering external references. So definitely use what's in the textbook. But for your organization, you want to visit the website, get details about that website, and then you want to make sure you're in text citing that information and you're also adding it to your reference list. And I can send some samples on just proper referencing if anyone needs that. I can add that into our weekly check when I upload this video. So these are the approved companies you get to choose from for your assignment. You can do Tubi, Disney Plus. You can do any of the streaming services that are listed here. You can do the B corporations. I never heard of Allbirds until I started working here in this class. I said, okay, it's pretty cool. Or you can use, one of the energy and resources, Hess, Chevron, Green Mountain Energy. But don't do any business to business. You want something that's B2C, something that the customer, or C2B. I think I said that right. Something where the consumer is buying from the company and how that product or what they're offering is going to fit that consumer's needs. So, value proposition, what is that? So it is not a slogan. So I'm not looking for, Nike, just do it. It is an explanation of why a consumer should choose your offering over the alternatives. So you're going to clearly state the customer problem, I need a phone. I don't have a phone. You're going to choose your specific consumer audience. I am in a place in my life where I can afford to buy an iPhone. So I would be that the consumer audience. The benefit that matters, this person, me, likes Netflix. So a free offering of that would really be cool for me. I would value that and a reason to believe. And then, of course, your point of difference. Any questions so far?
What would be like, so the reason to believe is that just like,
Like, so a couple times, like for example, I'm going to go back to, like for example, Patagonia. Their customers are most likely going to be conscious of the earth and the environment, and they recycle, right? Uh,
right.
so the reason to believe is I believe in this environment. I believe in this, and reduced waste. So that would be that person's reason to believe, for example. Does that
Okay.
yeah, so it's like they're saying the customer that we are appealing to, they're the type of person that is most likely going to recycle and they're more earth conscious and they're we're going to impact them by sharing this message of who we are and letting them know that we believe in what they believe in and we have that common interest and common responsibility.
Okay.
I couldn't think of one for Apple. I'm sorry.
It's
It
okay.
turns out maybe I'm not as loyal to Apple as I thought I was.
It's okay. Examples just help me understand better. So thank you.
No, for real. So I guess my reason to believe for Apple actually is the convenience. I actually prefer being on a Mac over um, a PC. I've become loyal to that over the years. I enjoy the graphics on the Mac more than I do on the PC. So that could be my reason to believe. So maybe
Okay.
I am loyal, turns out. So even though, just an FYI, all of our assignments are going to be Word documents or PowerPoints. And if you don't have access to that, I send a link that shows you how you can get access because it is offered through the school. Um, I've had other Mac lovers send me stuff I can't take because the school requires you to use the Microsoft Office products when you're submitting in the work. And so when I go in the folder to try and grade, I'm like, I can't open this because it's not the right format. So they have to resubmit it. But I'm very relaxed with that. So if you do something in the wrong format, I do let you know ahead of time and get it back. The other thing too is sometimes students forget to submit the image, which is required. If you submit your work early enough, it gives me time to kind of review it and I can send it back and say, hey, this piece is missing. Can you submit this? Or like, this doesn't make sense. Can you work on this? By the time you submit it, I'm grading it. But if you're working through the week and you're communicating with me, I can give you a little bit more guidance as well.
Okay.
So I think we just went over that a little bit. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to do a simple sketch. Don't overcomplicate it. I'm not a very good, I like graphics, but I'm not a very good graphic designer. So I would probably submit like a stick picture of me with a phone with arrows like how this product serves me. So you don't have to overcomplicate it. I don't want a flyer. I don't want a logo. I don't want a tagline. I don't want screenshots. If you're going with Disney Plus, please don't send me a screenshot of Disney Plus because that's not going to really answer what I'm looking for in this assignment. Send me a picture of your consumer. Draw your customer uh, and how Disney Plus helps them and their family. Shows that we can watch as a family, cost benefit, the demographics, if you want to go deep and see who Disney Plus serves, for example, if that's who you choose. But no ads, no flyers, no logos, none of that stuff yet. We could do that in future classes if you're interested in continuing your marketing education. Okay. So remember the framework for your memo. You're opening with the name of your company and the consumer's problem, what their need is, how you're going to resolve it. The middle part of it is you're going to explain the offering's main benefits and why your consumer should care. And then you're going to close it with stating the unique value and how it stands apart from competitors. So keep it short. You want it to be no more than 150 words. Image is it, so you have your memo followed by your image followed by your reference page, and that's it.
So I see the sample memo from the Purdue OWL link that you have.
Yes.
So our memo can just, after we do the to, from, date, subject, it can really just be like one paragraph, 150 words. It doesn't have to be like, because I see this one has like a paragraph and then it has social media advertising as like a title.
Yeah, no, you want it to be 150. That was just to show you kind of the format of
Okay.
how you want to style it. But yeah, do you just definitely use the Purdue to kind of this is how a memo looks. This is what Dr. Bassey wants the memo to look like, but follow the procedures for the assignment and the contents. You don't want to go over 150. You want to hyper focus on the value of the products that you are selling to your customer.
Okay.
Excellent. All right, so common mistakes to avoid writing a product decision. I don't want a description of the products. I want to know how the products, what their value proposition is, and how that product is going to serve the client, the customer. Don't, just, it doesn't have to be like all the benefits. Just give me the key strong ones that tie into the consumer problem, keeping it under 150 words, but don't go under 75 because that's just not good. You want to keep it at 150. Remember what the consumer problem is. Yeah, I've seen papers where they come in and everything's great. It's like, but what are we solving? The consumer has a problem and we're going to solve it. How are we going to solve it? We're going to say that this product will help them with this because they're missing this and we're giving them this, right? Again, an image that you do back of napkin should not be an advertisement or a logo or any of that stuff, just a simple sketch. And then make sure you remember your reference page because that is a portion of the writing.
So the type of the back of the napkin is kind of just basically an artistic version of what our value proposition is, what our memo says.
Correct.
Okay.
Absolutely. And it is due by, what time did I say it was due by? 11:59 next Tuesday. So make sure you just get it done before then. And then, of course, if you have any questions, I am available. And I will be doing the next Zoom session I will do will be not next Wednesday, but the following Wednesday because we will have another writing assignment.
Okay.
So we'll have another Zoom at that time. It'll also be at 7 o'clock and hopefully a little bit better because now my computer's set up and hopefully it doesn't rain.
Yeah, right.
Because no
No,
one
this
wants
is
to
great.
drive
This
in the
is
rain
really
in
helpful.
Maryland. I don't know if you guys are in Maryland or not, but it was like accident after accident. Like, what happened? Oh, it rained.
Yeah, that'll do it. That will do it.
All right, class. Well, thank you too for joining. I will have this up midweek. So,
Okay. Thank you so much. This was actually helpful. I appreciate it.
excellent. Glad to hear it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.